Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and if I look a little rougher than I usually do, that's because I have a hangover.
Doesn't that mean you're drunk?
No, it means I was drunk yesterday.
But anyway, in today's McDojo Breakdown, we're going to be talking about a martial arts instructor who seems to be passing down a history and lineage of cult-like behavior. Let's check it out and let's break it down.
Remember that your inside here, tennis ball. So I moved tennis ball, and he will feel it. You see? So without the hands, that's what I'm doing. But with his hands, also the same. Inside. Here. Okay, no hands. Yeah? Inside. See how he already feels it? I take his breath out. Yeah?
The man you just got done watching in that video goes by the name of Yoshihito Shibata. And I think for once I actually got his name right, which is pretty rare around here. So let's celebrate. But for the sake of the video, we'll just call him Master Yoshi. According to his bio, it says he started his training at the age of 7. Also in that bio, it gives credit to 2 different martial arts instructors for his particular training over the years. The first of those 2 men goes by the name of Takuya Agura. I'm pretty sure I butchered the name, but I don't care. And it says that he learned the style that Mr. Agura made up himself, or created himself, called Ogura Ryu Yawara. Nailed it. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find any information about that particular instructor or the martial arts style that he taught. The second instructor, on the other hand, is very telling as to why he teaches the things that he teaches. That man's name is Saigo Akamoto, and the style that he taught Master Yoshi is called Daito Ryu Aki Jujutsu. Now, what exactly did Mr. Akamoto actually teach to Master Yoshi?
I thought you'd never ask.
This is where it gets fun, because I actually have 3 very specific examples of the crazy that Mr. Akamoto actually teaches. Here is Exhibit A. As you can clearly see, this man really doesn't like his hair touched.
Nobody messes with the dude!
Now in Exhibit B, we see him handling weapons. Let's see what his weapon skills are like. That man can handle sticks like a true Brazzers champion. I mean, I hope he doesn't handle his own stick like that. He'd snatch it off like a celery stalker, but I digress. Finally, Exhibit C from this martial arts cult leader. Let's say hypothetically you're laying in bed and all of a sudden you're being pinned down by 5 random dudes. How would he handle it? Let's watch. As you can see from the 3 examples that I just gave you, Master Akamoto apparently was a true Jedi Master. Or would it be like Sith Lord? I think it's more like a Sith Lord.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
In any case, whether Jedi Master or Sith Lord or whatever other semantics you want to get into when it comes to Jedi voodoo mind tricks, the apple doesn't seem to fall far from the tree. Of course, this video is about Master Yoshi and we'll continue down the path with him, but what I wanted to do is just show an example of how people like this have been taken advantage of. Perhaps Master Yoshi is someone who was taken advantage of by a cult leader at a young age. He was indoctrinated into this type of teaching and behavior. He learned how to be a cult leader himself and then passed that down throughout the years. I mean, I want to give you 2 examples and they're almost identical. It's pretty creepy. Let's first show that video again of Master Akamoto doing the stick stuff. And then check out this video of Master Yoshi almost doing it identically to the way his master taught him. Like any other martial arts instructor, there was an instructor that came before them, and in this case, we've established that Mr. Akamoto was the one who came before Master Yoshi. But like any other martial arts instructor, as you go on to become your own instructor and you become a teacher off on your own, you eventually start to sprinkle in things that are just unique. They're unique to your experiences, they're unique to your thoughts and your ideals, and Master Yoshi's no different, even though what he's teaching is bullshit. Here's a little example of Master Yoshi kind of becoming his own instructor here, and he's teaching someone that he can control their body while painting with a paintbrush. Check it out.
So here, now I actually, first before I touch the paper, I actually connect my own and then I relax. Now I can actually draw my hands. That's it. And so, what should I write?
Aikido.
Aikido. Okay. So.
So why is it important? Why is it important that we call out these people as what they are, which is frauds and cult leaders? Why not just let them live in their fantasy world where they can just believe what they want to believe? And anybody who follows them isn't a victim in some people's eyes, but they had it coming, which I don't agree with. This stuff gets really dark. And I want to bring up a story about grooming, which is exactly the lineage that we just showed. We showed a martial arts cult leader, Mr. Akamoto, teaching an impressionable student, such as Mr. Yoshi. Mr. Yoshi grows up and then he becomes the cult leader and the cycle continues. That's called grooming, by the way, when someone is taken advantage of and they slowly but surely over a long period of time have indoctrinated someone to a belief structure or behavior that's not necessarily on the status quo. I believe Master Yoshi was groomed. I believe that he was indoctrinated into a strange belief structure, which as he was growing up, he was taken advantage of by his instructor. Now, Master Yoshi, of course, he passes that torch along and then he starts indoctrinating people into his belief structure, which we'll get into that in a moment. But I want to give an example of indoctrination and grooming. If you can convince someone that you can knock them over with your mind or your chi powers, you can almost convince them of anything. And there is a story of grooming that is utterly terrifying that some of you may have heard of. And there was a book written about it called Why, Gary, Why? And it was written by a person named Jody Plowshay. Jody Plowshay was a child when his martial arts instructor started to sexually molest him. Over a long period of time, he was groomed by that instructor, and then eventually the instructor took him away, abducted him. He was eventually brought back by his martial arts instructor to the custody of his parents. When that happened, his parents asked him specifically, had he inappropriately touched you? And the child's response was no. The police, doing their job, obviously ran a rape kit and found out that that was not true, that apparently Jody had been molested for quite a while, and especially while he was being taken away. That father, Gary Plowshay, which was Jody's father, once he heard that news, had a very hard time dealing with that. started drinking very heavily, and found out eventually where they were going to be flying that martial arts instructor to, what airport, and he waited. In a very famous clip, he waited on the phone. While he was waiting on the phone, he was actually having a conversation with someone. He was actually on the phone speaking with someone about what he was about to do. He planned on killing the molester as they walked him through the airport. In the video, he does turn around and eventually shoots and kills the instructor. Gary Plauché didn't spend 1 day in prison for that. Not one. Why do I give you this story? Why do I tell you about this story? Why is that important for you to understand? Is because people who groom people into certain behaviors take advantage of them. And while you might see somebody like a Master Yoshi, I'm not calling him a pedophile by any means, by the way, because I just don't know if he is or not. But when you look at somebody like a Master Yoshi, you have to remember where he's teaching. Master Yoshi was teaching all of the things that I just showed you at the University of California in Santa Cruz. He had been doing so for a very long time. And that probably would have continued if it wasn't for COVID and eventually getting it shut down because they got rid of all those extracurricular activities. But I'm very curious if he's back now. And just like most of the con artists that we actually cover on here, he got raving reviews. Like a lot of the reviews that were done about him on Rate Your Professor were all great. People loved him, loved the guy, and they thought he was a very nice and kind instructor. But what happens is grooming doesn't typically happen when you're being mean to people. So, of course, he has nice reviews because he's taking advantage of people and they don't know they're being taken advantage of. That's half the battle of the con. Normally, I would give somebody like this 5 out of 5 Dillmans. I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 Dillmans because I believe he's just perpetuating a cycle. I do believe it's dangerous. I do believe that what he's doing is grooming people into a behavior that's not conducive to self-defense whatsoever, but will eventually get them hurt if they actually did try to use any of this stuff to protect themselves. I am extremely curious what you guys think about grooming and indoctrination in the martial arts industry. I would really love to know your thoughts in the comment sections below. But just to make sure that you watched all the way through, I'm curious what your favorite McDojoLife video is that we posted. Whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on YouTube, let us know in the comment sections below when you add your comment, which is your favorite McDojoLife video that we've ever posted. And since we talked about the story of Jody Plauché today, just a reminder, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who is an actual member of the page. You have subscribers, you have members. I appreciate the hell out of both of you, but the members are the ones that allow us to continue to cover the stories about child abduction and molestation, because whenever you do post stories like that, most likely this one as well will be demonetized, but they usually get demonetized. So for everyone who's a member, you guys really help the page continue to push forward and allow us to continue to bring light to this subject and hopefully help people. As always, thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all that other crap people online tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.